Okay? In the first destruction, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said concerning the 144,000, I can't stop that. But the Mahdi, if he wanted to change it, he can. Now, let's understand what he's saying. You know, see, a lot of times we tell the brothers, anytime there appears to be a contradiction, look carefully into it because there's a drink. Because Allah, there's no incongruity in what he says. All right. Son of Man, Great Mahdi, he brings in a whole new world. All scripture stop with his showing on the scene, with his reign. Everything stops. He makes all things new. Our Father said the only thing we are to take into the new world is worship of Allah. That's all. Now, everything else, it is up to us to decide how we want our people to live. We have to set up everything. Now, in our setting things up, there is the possibility of trying to get more of our people to stand up, to understand the truth. We'll never stop teaching, but we doubt very seriously that any more than what has already been predicted will come about.
But the Mahdi, if he so chooses, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad as son can't make the prophets out to be liars, but the Mahdi, his God, can do away with what the prophets have said.
Actually, what he is saying is that all scriptures are obligated up to him, and there's absolutely nothing that we can say he can or can't do. This is what he's saying. We ain't gonna step over into New World or hereafter because that's his province.
Now, who is that Mahdi?
Son of Man, the one who does exactly what his father told him to do, who comes in the name
now,
of
who is his father? See, that I guess that's where
Elijah raises the great Mahdi.
So the Mahdi can abrogate the prophets?
No, all things up to the Mahdi is abrogated.
Okay.
All
by the presence of the
ends with him.
Okay.
All scripture ends with him. No eye have seen, no heart, no mind have seen what he gonna do. This is to say that he is not bound by any doctrine, religion, type of government. He's not bound by anything, is what our Father is saying. When he say, now, you asking me, but I tell you, you can't make lies of the prophets. But now when you want to really deal with it, you got to, Mahdi, he the one that you have to deal with that with. Only to say, not that the Mahdi is going to make lies of the prophets, but is bearing witness that nobody can say what the Mahdi gonna do.
So the Son is greater than the Father in this instance?
No.
The Son raised by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is greater?
Continuance. Says the same God with the same idea to destroy these devils is on the scene today. It's always been the same. Every time a prophet came on the scene, they said, Jesus, who put you in this? He said, I ain't come to change the law, I come to fulfill it. All of the prophets upheld the other. Come to fulfill it, not to destroy it. That's who the Son of Man is. You never break the chain. And it's a continuance of Godhood. From the very beginning, it's continuous. We read our history 25,000 years ago. Every so many years we send a warner to let them know, stay on track. This is what we got to do now. And another one comes, say, okay, now we got to do this. And then another one comes, say, yeah, no, okay, now this is the big picture.
When you mentioned the succession of God, and my understanding was that that succession took place in the context of that 25,000 years history. Mm-hmm. So that the God of one, that succession occurs at 25,000 year intervals. So there's a God of this cycle, and then he's succeeded by another God. My understanding was that, well, Master Farah Muhammad is an anomaly in that when he was born, there was already a God of this cycle, but he broke it. And your experience with the messenger, you may be able to correct me, I may be wrong in my understanding. The Master Farah Muhammad was, even though he wasn't born at the time that the God of this particular cycle was chosen, some 16,000 years ago, that he broke the cycle. He became the God for eternity. My understanding was he broke the cycle. My reading of the messenger, now again, all I have access to, the books and whatnot, I don't have access to what you had access to, so you can clarify it. My understanding was Master Farah Muhammad was the game changer, and so there would be no succeeding him. Now, my understanding was that he will exalt him as Mahdi was always paired with this other figure, and the two of them, because that other figure, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, is exalted to godhood by him, that they are so close that the people would be confused over who is Lord. Master Farah Muhammad, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the two arrows shot from the same bow. But that other than that, the succession of the gods start with, at least, maybe not organizationally, meaning there still be a council, because there's always a government. And Master Farah Muhammad isn't going to live to govern physically forever. So even while there may be a government, the wisdom of the God, because the gods were determined by their wisdom determined their cycle, and every God had their own wisdom for their cycle. That Master Farah Muhammad's was the game changer. That he was the first perfect God, and therefore his wisdom was to be eternal, versus those guys that went before him that were succeeded one after the other. Their wisdom was limited to that 25,000 year cycle, and thus the succession of gods and succession of wisdom. Am I terribly off base in my reading of the messenger?
You're in course. Okay, now look. There's never a time that the Supreme One is not among us. And that one is Allah. Okay. The succession of gods means that the same original idea from the beginning is moved on to the next God, to the next, call him a prophet if you want, but it continues. It continues up until the end. Now, the end is with Alpha and Omega. The knowledge of the transition had to come with a great angel, Master Farah, especially prepared man. He ain't had no choice. He had no choice. And he's half original man. Prepared.
Have you ever heard the messenger refer to him with that language?
Yeah.
Half original?
Sure.
You heard
So
him
he had a
refer to
white mother and a black father.
But yeah, I understand that.
Mhm.
But the specific language, the specific term, Aboriginal man, did you ever hear him refer to him with that particular term?
I can't give you a reference. Do we have a reference?
No, sir. Only thing we've ever read is where our father said that Master Farad Muhammad's father was a black man, a really black man, and his mother was a white woman. That his father went up into the mountains of Europe and brought down and made a good Muslim. Yes, sir.
But I don't watch that half-original man stuff. But
Yeah,
the thing is,
There's a reason I raised that.
but the thing is, he was specially prepared
Right.
and then raised and then sent to carry with him the transition, the knowledge of God to Alpha and Omega.
Yes.
Now, Alpha and Omega is the true end. That's why he was able to stay 3.5 years and then say, okay, my job here is done. You see? So it is the idea from the very beginning that is the God conscience, that is transmitted. Not necessarily the person,
Okay, I got it.
the idea.
Yeah, no, this is a very profound understanding of our Father. And
He said, you'll never get out of my wisdom.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. You're absolutely correct. And it's refreshing because a lot of Muslims have atrophied or fossilized with regard to the messenger's teaching. Are afraid to go deep or go beyond just the obvious of what he taught in any attempt to go deeper. The charges of blasphemy and whatnot. So it's refreshing that yeah, I know you know. I speak it. I know you know. You got to put the poster gods for that, if you will. So it's really refreshing. I think I think your success, your material success, is a testament to the rightness of going deeper into those who, you look at those who are afraid to go past the surface. Look at their operation. There's no comparison. I mean, like he said, you would tell the son by the work that's being done and the success of the work. So I think you validate the correctness of plumbing the depth of what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught, not being afraid to draw it up and see what's there. So I truly appreciate your insight. I'm chew on all of it. Like your commentary, your explanation, your commentary to, I say not explanation because that's the cheap book description of my opinion. Your commentary to this clarifies a lot for me. It gives me a lot to chew on, draw up.
We just quote what he wrote.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. We do not deviate. If we can't see where he said it, we don't accept it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Not sure where he said it.
Yes, sir.
And that's what makes us who we are. If we can't show that we're doing exactly what our Father said, then we ain't the people.
Yes, sir.
Simple as that.